Meet Marie, a curator at the local museum. The museum holds many interesting and valuable objects. Marie wants to digitize some of these objects and set up a digital collection. In this session, we will follow Marie to learn how to set up a plan for developing a digital collection. We will identify how the community might benefit from the collection, decide what should be included in the collection, and learn what requirements or standards must be met when organizing and preserving a digital collection. But first of all, what is a digital collection? In the broadest sense, it is any organized set of digital objects, whether digitized or born digital. It can be based on a certain type of media or form, for example, a collection of digitized vinyl records, or it can be a multimedia collection created around a common topic. Can you pause for a minute and think of some kinds of digital collections you deal with in a personal daily life? Here are some examples. A folder with your photos from the last summer vacation, a music playlist created for your birthday party, or your Kindle library. But of course, digital collections in GLAMs are more complex. GLAM institutions need to ensure both long-term preservation and wide availability of their digital holdings, which requires investing a lot of time and effort. That's why digitization should be carefully planned. So Marie and her colleagues start by creating a digital collection development policy. It is a document that provides information about types or subjects of institutional digital collections, their scope and purpose, how much labor and financial investment is needed, and how these collections will be sustainably maintained. Some useful tips about digital collection development planning can be found at these links. First of all, Marie and her colleagues need to think about institutional and community goals for their digital collection. What purpose will it serve? For example, it might enhance access to the museum collections, leading to a stronger sense of cultural identity among the community. Or it can help build new innovative services that will attract young people to the museum. The next question is what to digitize? The criteria for digitizing depend on institutional needs and goals, but most often the priority is given to the objects that are rare, valuable, or have historical importance, the objects that are widely searched and researched, the objects whose original physical form is fragile and needs to be protected from excessive use, and the objects that are suitable for use in a variety of contexts, for example, in research, education, cultural tourism, promotional activities, and so on. The next question is what are technical requirements for digitization? First and foremost, if they are to be considered reliable sources of information, digitized objects should remain as faithful as possible to their originals. They should be digitized with professional cameras or high quality scanners, and image enhancement should be limited to removing the irregularities resulted from scanning. High quality equipment is expensive. That's why Marie and her colleagues need to think carefully about the scope of their collection and the type and amount of material they want to digitize. They might consider the options such as outsourcing or starting a digital project in partnership with other institutions. However, Mary knows that collaboration with other institutions is possible only if digital files are stored and shared in standard interoperable formats. These formats support sharing and reusing of digitized objects in a wider environment, for example, in virtual exhibitions or mobile apps. But this is not their only role. Another is long-term preservation. In the conditions of ever-changing technology, digital files must have archival copies stored in standardized, widely recognized lossless formats so that they can remain accessible and usable even when the institution's technological infrastructure is changed. In this table, you can find some preferred archival file formats. For more information, see the link below. However, files archived in these formats are usually very large. As you can see, to make user copies for the web, they are usually converted to lossy but more manageable formats such as JPEG or MP3. But Marie is aware that before making the digital objects available online, she needs to identify them and describe them to make them searchable and discoverable. Data that identifies and describes digital assets is called metadata. Digital objects are identified by standard identifiers such as Digital Object Identifier or URN-NBN. They identify digital objects regardless of their web location, and are usually assigned on request by national registration agencies such as national libraries. What other information should be included in the description is determined by a metadata schema used in the institution. Different institutions use different schemas. Some of them are custom in-house schemas, while others, such as the ones included in this table, are preset and standardized, which is great for sharing. However, most schemas have common basic elements such as title, creator, subject, date, type of object, or rights. But even when all the digitized items have been organized and described, they cannot automatically be published online. Some objects may be protected by intellectual property laws or donor agreements, which means that their digital copies can be published or used only with the permission of the property holder. The digital rights management is an important area and can directly affect the institution's business. Marie needs to investigate different options for digital content publishing and then set up an access policy which defines what will be published and under what conditions. You can find more details about this in our sessions about copyright and licenses and data sharing and reuse. So let's sum up what Marie has found out so far. Conceptually, digital collections don't really differ from physical ones. Both need a development plan and are created and maintained according to certain standards. Both require stable and secure long-term storage and need an organization system and a defined access policy. In the next stage of her work, Marie will research repository infrastructure for digital assets. Join us at the intermediate level to find out more about digital collection management. Thank you for watching.